The Madison isn't Yellowstone Season 6, but can continue the Duttons story in 5 big ways. The Madison isn't Yellowstone Season 6. It's a different offshoot of Taylor Sheridan's neo-Western franchise. The Madison won't focus on the Dutton family, unlike every other Yellowstone story. It will focus on the Clyburn family instead, led by Michelle Pfeiffer as Stacy Clyburn. While Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Life is a Promise, concludes each story, the Madison can continue the Dutton family stories in a few key ways. After selling the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch to the Broken Rock tribe, Case Dutton, Luke Grimes, settles back at East Camp, which he brokered for his family. Beth, Kelly Riley, and Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, also have a new beginning, moving to a ranch outside Dillon, Montana, with Carter, Finn Little. Still, despite a nice Yellowstone ending for the main characters, the Dutton family story can continue from afar in the Madison. It's a lofty assumption to presume that the Madison's characters will regularly overlap with Beth and Case. Still, the Clyburns will live in the same Montana that John's kids still occupy. Therefore, the Madison story can explain the climate in Montana following Governor John Dutton's death. Yellowstone Season 5 mostly shows how John's death affects his immediate family. The Madison can refer to the politician to explain how the state is handling the loss of their governor more broadly. Yellowstone fans had quite the bias watching Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, regarding John's death. The event felt personal since we knew John intimately. Still, it's unclear what anyone outside John's immediate circle thinks of the matter. Grief overcomes Jamie, Wes Bentley, and the rest of John's kids for different reasons. Sarah Atwood, Dawn Olivieri, celebrated. The Madison can explain how John's death impacted his constituents who weren't personally affected. Case sold the Yellowstone Ranch to the Broken Rock tribe in the Yellowstone Season 5 finale. Yellowstone audiences watched as Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham, witnessed his people tearing down everything John Dutton's family built piece by piece, restoring the land to the way it looked before they settled there. The Madison could update Yellowstone audiences on the ranch's transformation, with its characters visiting the conservation area to witness its historic existence. While the Yellowstone Season 5 finale provided an inspiring ending for the Broken Rock tribe, the people will likely encounter challenges maintaining the land. The Madison's characters can talk with Thomas Rainwater and check in about the process. The more robust story for the Madison is under wraps, so it's unclear exactly how the Clyburn family could potentially connect to Montana's indigenous people, but there could be a connection there. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 7, The Dream Is Not Me, Lionel Perry, Wendy Moniz, meets with Thomas Rainwater and Mo brings plenty to warn them about a pipeline proposed to run through the reservation. The development follows a visit from the President of the United States, which Rainwater knows foreshadows something ominous. Rainwater gets Senator Petty and Governor John Dutton's support in opposing the development, but he also takes a more on-the-ground approach. In the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, Mo leads a group of warriors on horseback to disrupt the pipeline's progress. When Thomas asks how the mission went, Mo tells him they made a great effort and that it would stop them for a while. The Madison could offer an update on the pipeline, which would run through the Broken Rock Reservation and the Yellowstone Ranch, which are now connected. The Madison cast could somehow be connected to the next chapter of that story. While they won't be a significant portion of the show, Beth or Case could theoretically appear in the Madison since the offshoot exists in the same universe. Taylor Sheridan has connected all his Yellowstone series, including 1883 and 1923. That said, those stories have all detailed the Dutton family tree, giving Sheridan a reason to connect them. Case and Beth have taken on new endeavors, allowing their paths to cross Montana residents in new ways. For instance, Case started his operation at East Camp. He could encounter the Clyburn family in the cattle or horse trading business somehow, and the crossover would, in turn, inform what was happening to Case, Monica, Kelsey Asbill, and Tate, Brecken Merrill. Similarly, the Madison could provide an update on Beth's life. John Dutton's daughter killed her brother, Montana's Attorney General, in the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, and the Madison could update the investigation. With all the Yellowstone Ranch cowboys heading in different directions in the Yellowstone Season 5 finale, one could mosey on into the Madison. The offshoot could tell the story of what comes next for one of the cowboys, making it a vital element of Dutton family lore. From the Madison's casting updates, it sounds like Stacy Clyburn has several neighbors who act as stewards of the land. So odds are Stacy will be on a ranch and need a hand from a cowboy. After the finale, Lloyd Pierce, 4E J. Smith, is available. Ethan Lee, and Jake Ream, are heading to another ranch in Montana. So some familiar cowboys may appear if the Clyburns are associated with the N-Bar Ranch. That said, complete with standout stars from Suits and Lost, Patrick J. Adams, and Matthew Fox, the star-studded, the Madison cast doesn't need any Yellowstone characters to help the series along. That said, it would be exciting to see the stories connect. When Yellowstone first premiered, it became an undeniable cultural phenomenon, captivating audiences with the gripping drama of the Dutton family and their sprawling Montana ranch. As the flagship series nears its conclusion with its 6th and final season, fans are left wondering what's next for the Dutton legacy. Enter The Madison, an upcoming series set in the Yellowstone universe that, while not a direct continuation, has the potential to extend the story in significant ways. Here are 5 major ways The Madison can keep the spirit of Yellowstone alive while forging its own path. 1. Expanding the Dutton family legacy beyond Montana. The Madison is rumored to take place in Wyoming, marking a departure from the familiar Yellowstone ranch setting. However, the Duttons' influence extends beyond Montana, and there's a strong possibility that the series could explore their family connections or business dealings in this new location. With characters like Jamie, Beth, or even Case potentially having stakes in Wyoming land, the Madison could follow a different branch of the Dutton family or introduce relatives who have long operated in the shadows. This would allow for a fresh take on the family's power struggles while maintaining connections to the original series. 2. Carrying forward the political and business battles. One of Yellowstone's most compelling elements has been the political intrigue surrounding John Dutton's tenure as governor and Beth's fierce business maneuvers against corporate greed. While The Madison may focus on a different protagonist, it can continue exploring these themes in new ways. Perhaps the series follows a landowner or politician in Wyoming who faces similar threats from developers, government interference, or rival ranchers. This would maintain the high-stakes drama that made Yellowstone so addictive, giving fans the same intense boardroom battles and political showdowns in a fresh setting. 3. Introducing a new generation of ranchers and cowboys. Yellowstone fans have fallen in love with characters like Rip Wheeler and Jimmy Herdstrom, who embody the rugged cowboy lifestyle. The Madison has the opportunity to introduce a new group of ranchers, cowboys, and wranglers who bring their own unique personalities and conflicts to the forefront. Whether it's a young, ambitious cowboy trying to make a name for himself or an aging rancher struggling to keep his land, the series can honor the legacy of Yellowstone while creating new fan-favorite characters. If the show wants to tie into Yellowstone even more, it could feature characters like Walker or Colby moving to Wyoming for a new opportunity. 4. Exploring the ever-present conflict between ranching and progress. A central theme of Yellowstone has been the battle between traditional ranching and the forces of modernization. The Madison can continue this struggle by showcasing how Wyoming's ranchers face similar challenges. Perhaps the new series focuses on a family-owned ranch being threatened by an energy company, land developers, or even the federal government. The show could also explore the nuances of conservation efforts, tribal land disputes, and the encroachment of tourism, all of which are relevant issues in the region. This would allow the Madison to retain the dramatic tension of Yellowstone, while putting its own unique spin on the ranching versus progress storyline. 5. Bringing back familiar faces while introducing new ones. Even though the Madison is not a direct continuation of Yellowstone, there's a strong possibility that some characters from the original series could make appearances. If the show was set in the same timeline, figures like Thomas Rainwater, Caroline Warner, or even some members of the Dutton family could cross over. At the same time, the series can introduce new characters who bring fresh perspectives and challenges. The balance of old and new will be key in keeping longtime fans engaged while also attracting a broader audience.